Cross country.
The hype
Eagles.
is back.
Let's go.
The hype is back,
Yeah,
Matt.
what a fantastic race on Friday.
And welcome back to the official Emmaus Athletic Podcast. In the Nest, I'm your co-host, Shane Douglas. I'm here with Matty Ice Tomlinson. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, Shane. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. It's not that hot out anymore.
Oh, this weekend, speaking of that, 66 degrees during the games this weekend. It's going to be amazing.
Love it. I love it. But I'm doing really well. You know why?
I have to hear that. Why? Tell me why.
It's pumpkin spice season.
Bruh.
Matt called me a basic white girl this morning. Shout out to my basic white girls.
I did.
Because I got a pumpkin spice ice spiced chai.
With?
Oat milk.
Yep.
It just tastes better. So you actually need oat milk. I don't.
I know.
And maybe I'll get hated on for that, but it's just so much. I'm telling you guys.
Oh, man.
Oat milk is creamier, it's better than normal milk. I probably want to drink
I must say,
oat milk straight up.
I do like pumpkin spice because I don't drink it personally, but I like it because that means it's fall weather.
Pumpkin spice is amazing.
Yes.
You add that to anything, it's so much better. I add it to your smoothies. Someone do it, please.
Interesting.
Someone do it and let us know.
I mean, that could be a new coffee bean drink.
What would it be called? Like the
I don't know.
pumpkin banana strawberry smooth. No, that's I kind of want to try it. I feel like it would be better. I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe next time Landon is the barista, we can try it out.
Yeah, or get us the Blue Lotus.
Back, please. We need CO2.
Well, no, add the pumpkin.
The carbon.
Add the pumpkin. Add the pumpkin.
Into the Blue Lotus?
The pumpkin.
The pumpkin.
That's our new. That's our new slogan. Add the pumpkin to anything. If we say add the pumpkin, that means let's make it making it better. You know,
we could see.
I feel like we could throw that in there with some sports references throughout the year. Maybe.
Comments if you think that's a good idea.
I'm gonna say I don't care if it's a good idea or not. But either way, thank you guys for listening and giving us some of your minutes today of listening to this podcast.
And
your
what
support,
pumpkin
your
spice
love.
latte is.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Matt. Either way, we're sorry for dropping this video a little late. We had some technical difficulties in the studio,
but it's all good.
It is all good. We had a late game Tuesday night against Ripon for soccer.
Yesterday.
Today
is Thursday.
Shoot, Wednesday. See, even more later.
Right.
See, I'm I'm all messed up this week. I don't know what day is what.
Yeah.
It's been a weird week.
It has been a weird week.
Because of Labor Day.
That's true, yeah.
That's why.
It is, really.
So, thank you for...
Yes.
We
are actually recording on a Thursday for once.
I know. Hey, it's true, but we're not live. Typically,
live.
we drop it at 9. I don't know what time we will drop it. Probably
that could be fun idea in the future.
A live
this is
one?
off topic, but doing a live.
We've never
interesting.
We've never been we've never had to edit a show.
Don't say that.
We haven't.
Don't jinx us.
What? Well, we haven't. Everything has just been dry, just straight. So we'll see what the future holds.
We'll see.
Maybe you'll say something too bad. I'm scared for you. Either way, guys, thank you so much for listening and showing love to this podcast. We love seeing the fans at the sports games throughout all season, even just the few we've had this year, the home games, only soccer. So many of you come up to us and give us love. So thank you so much.
We appreciate that.
So continue to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and so you know when we do drop a video or a post-game interview or more content that we want to do this year. With that said, though, sorry for the late show. But we're here, we're back, and we're pumpkin spice. So that was bad. That was bad. Either way, today we're going to talk about sports, obviously.
Yeah, we have a lot to cover today.
We had 2 soccer matches, Ripon Wednesday, as well as Spurgeon from last Saturday. And then we have two volleyball matches to go over from the weekend. And an amazing cross-country meet.
Yo, that was technically in town.
Well, the biggest highlight. The biggest highlight of the weekend, in my opinion. It was kind
100%.
of just like a spoiler to this episode, kind of a crappy weekend a little bit for some of our sports teams, but for cross country, that's the encouragement. That's the encouragement. We'll save them for last.
Yes.
Let's get started with honestly volleyball.
Yes,
let's get
volleyball. So volleyball was on the road this weekend up in Minnesota. They had originally 3 games scheduled.
Yes.
North Central on Friday, and then at Crown College on Saturday, and then They had to drive back to North Central to play Kuiper, which is a regional game.
And Kuiper's a new team this year.
Kuiper is a new team. This is their first year, I think, back with a volleyball team. So they had sports a while ago and then got rid of sports and then realized that getting rid of sports hurts enrollment. So then they added sports back 2 years ago or 3 years. I think it was 2 years ago.
You're speaking like a true member of the athletic department.
Yes, and admissions too, which is true. Sure. But yeah, this is the first year they've had soccer and volleyball back. So yeah, it was a very interesting weekend for volleyball.
Really tough.
There were a lot of outside things coming into the weekend with some of the girls, which is unfortunate, but it happens in life. And it was kind of a really weird match against North Central because they got there and then this isn't to make an excuse, but this is just transparency on what happened. Like the subbing was different. So they're usually NCCAA does the NAI subbing rule, which is unlimited subs. But since they're D3, they wanted to do the D3 rules, which is only 15 subs because apparently with D3, if you don't use D3 subbing rules, it can't count as a D3 game or something like that. So that threw everyone off because like when you practice for 3 weeks doing one thing and all of a sudden right before the game starts, you get thrown off for a loop. It can affect a lot. So great first set. Fantastic first set to start the year, which is great. I think it went to extra points. It was I think 27-25. And then they had some issues with the scoreboard and then with like the table. So the first set took 53 minutes, which is crazy. And so there was a lot of stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. And then there was like a 20-minute delay between sets. And so it ended up being a dance party and a rock, paper, scissors tournament on the court for the two teams. But that aside,
a dance party.
It was. They were going. And then second set.
Wait, were they actually dancing?
They were dancing. Yes.
Okay, cool.
It was.
I didn't see that on the live stream.
Second set.
I watched the second set and on.
Yeah.
I missed the first.
Yeah. First set was great. Second set and third set were not so great. A lot of things to work on, which they will and is encouraging. But I mean, just the way to put it, there was just a lot going on that game, and so it showed. But they did have some, like that first set was really good. A lot of good promise. Going into Saturday when we played at Crown. Unfortunately, we ended up losing that 3-0. But the games were super competitive. I think it was like 25-20 each set. Girls looked actually really good. I think Caitlin finished with 16 kills in that game. And
I was going up against a nationally known team though for NCCAA.
Yeah. And so that was good. I mean, obviously 0-2 in the weekend was not preferable, but I mean, it's your first games of the year, and the game on Friday, the North Central game, I mean, there were probably like 300 to 400 fans there because that was their first game of the year. So like it was like they were in the spotlight literally. Yeah. And then we were supposed to play Kuiper after the Crown game, but North Central forgot about that, and then they didn't schedule a trainer because you're supposed to have a athletic trainer at all your events. And so they basically were like, well, we can host it, but we're not going to get a trainer. And so then they ended up canceling it as a neutral site host. And so that stank, but the girls got home a little bit earlier. But so not the ideal way to start the weekend, but obviously, like, I mean, how often does that happen where, you know, you dominate going into the weekend? So, but I mean, a lot of good things, like this weekend's going to be really, really great. Finally have home games. And so they get to play after another week of practice. And so it'll be good. It'll be good. There's a lot of promise, just not the way we had hoped that the weekend would have gone.
Honestly, it seemed like there's more outside noise that was affecting our team.
It was.
Than on the court noise, which is something you never want. And of course you can't
make that an excuse, but like the amount of stuff that had happened prior to that and in that first game was significant.
Some of it is a lot of it's ridiculous, you can say, honestly. And of course you can't control the stuff off the court when it comes to home life. Right. But when it comes to game things, I mean, just when you treat hosting a game like a joke, like that's just not professional. It's not. It was just a lot of miscommunication, not communication.
No communication.
No communicating. And you know, the thing, North Central was apologetical, so they apologized a lot.
For the most part, yeah.
But it was really tough.
It was.
And Coach Bailey and Coach Rittker both say that it didn't really affect our women's team. But
you know how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of lost for words. I don't really know what to say because I know it was a lot of frustrations for the coaches. And you don't want this at our level, at any level, honestly. It's just, it hurts.
Especially losing a regional game too. That could have helped a lot too. So,
and the thing is, they were competitive.
Yeah.
They were competitive in the first set against North Central and all the sets and against Crown. So, to have these outside noises, it, as much as you don't want it to be as an excuse, if those sets are that close, I feel like there's room for an excuse or two.
Yeah.
With either if it's home life or if it's all this drama going on when it comes to communicating and setting the matches, talking about what rules we're using. So no shade on anybody. We don't want it. We don't want to say anything poorly or negative about anything, but this is the truth from what was communicated to us
and what we saw on the live stream
to our women's volleyball team. So this
happens at times. It happens. But.
And the thing is, we knew when it comes to the skill of the team of North Central and Crown, we purposely scheduled tough games at the beginning of the season
to prepare for conference. And
to strengthen
postseason play,
to strengthen our women's team moving forward into the year. So our women, I feel like after that weekend, as crappy as it might have been, crummy as it was, I feel like
some motivation.
Really added more motivation, strengthened them as a team, as a unit moving forward, and hopefully another tough weekend moving forward that we'll get to. That they can take what they learned, take this motivation into not just next weekend but the whole season,
the rest of the season going forward. Yeah, exactly.
So shout out to the women's team for what you guys went through. It was really tough. Hopefully we don't have to jump through hoops again. It's kind of trashy. But moving on.
It happens, yeah. Moving forward. So,
but our men's soccer team was able to come home with a dub last Saturday against the Spurgeon Knights. Spurgeon
rivalry game.
Yeah, Spurgeon's becoming a little rival of ours. We're going back
for
and
soccer.
Forth. Yeah. Way to make that clear. That's funny. They're becoming a rival game for us for soccer.
Yep.
And they're honestly becoming a powerhouse, guys. They are. And when it comes to athletics, it pains me to say it, but they're kind of like they're going to be, I hope not, but maybe they will be, the new Maranatha. So
I could see that.
So we'll see.
It was a fun game coming in. I mean, we had come off the 5-3 win against Central. They had played 2 North region teams and then won 20-0, 15-0.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, we'll see. Not really sure what to expect, but
they had both defensive.
Man, what a game our Eagles had.
True. Going into the game, like you said, they had a big weekend. Spurgeon did last weekend with those massive point difference. But they also had a lot of motivation from having both the defensive and offensive
players of the week,
student athletes of the week on their roster. So I will say though, it was a great game.
Oh, fantastic!
It was very stressful. Us kind of being in it with just a rival game, a future rivalry game. And a lot of my emotions were in it. My emotions were on the field, man. I was screaming, seriously. I was yelling. A ref yelled at me, so that was tough. But I wasn't yelling at a player.
Was it Paul?
No.
Okay.
I was yelling at Paul.
You were yelling at Paul.
I give myself one game a year to just unleash. Usually if there's someone with me, I'm the one controlling them. Like Luke Serwinski, shout out Luke. I'm always like telling Luke, like, hey man, calm down. Yeah. I didn't have anybody with me. I was alone. I was alone wolf out there.
A little bit of the game, but
yeah, but you were up there with the family and the coaches, and it's all right. It was all right. So but
what a game!
Side judge. Either way, So Spurgeon going in there, I walking onto the field.
You could tell they're
giants.
Oh yeah,
they're giants. They definitely. I say this to everyone. They beat us in genetics. My gosh, those guys were all above like 6'2", and they're tall, bigger,
physical,
stronger, faster. Skill level though, we can match them. We were able to match them. But the thing is, when you're playing against a physical team like Spurgeon, a bigger team, they're going to win a lot of the 50-50 balls, not just in the air, but on the ground. So it was very tough for our guys' team, men's team, to win possession of the ball the entire game.
I mean, the the film showed it. I mean, after the game, what it was, Spurgeon possessed the ball like 91% of the game.
Yeah.
And which is crazy because that's just nuts.
That sucks.
91%. We had possession for 9% of the game and we won 2-0.
Yep.
Which is nuts. Like, they're coming to the game averaging 17.5 goals a game. We only allowed them to have 17 shots on goal. Tucker had 15 saves.
Yeah. Which
is amazing. And then we were 50%. We were 2 for 4 on our shots.
It's true.
Which is crazy.
We scored off of a set piece from a Carlos free kick to our freshman Noah Keller, who was the
first career goal. Shout out
to Noah. So he speared it with his head, top of his head. Bad spot.
Late in the second half too. Because it was 0-0 in first half.
Crazy. So after that set piece, and then later on a counterattack.
Yeah, 3 minutes left in the game.
Tucker punted the ball downfield, and Riley.
Can we just talk about that punt though? Like he punted it from the box to like almost the opposite corner.
Yeah,
like that was nuts.
So he punted the ball downfield, which was primarily, I guess, our assumption is that was our offensive strategy was to have counterattacks. The coaches beforehand for a majority of the week were working on defense, how to shift correctly, when to attack, when not to. So there was a lot of patience being taught to our men's soccer team this week in practice, and purposely going into, I guess, this stretch of tough games against Spurgeon, Ripon, this weekend's game against Northwestern. So really trying to focus and hone in on defense. So counterattacks is where we're gonna, majority get our offensive possession on towards their 18.
That happened.
So as we were saying, Tucker punted the ball downfield. Riley still attacked it, forced a bad pass where Bennett Kreiner was able to intercept the ball, and chip the goalie a little bit far outside the 18. And
which I think was
our second goal, and that was with less than 2 minutes left.
7th career goal, I think that's what it was.
It was the silencer. It was the silencer. So it was a crazy game.
And like we talked about last week, how our back three played really good against Central. I mean, they had a phenomenal game.
They did. Evan, or back four. Back four. So Evan Shields easily had.
I mean, he saved
one of the greatest games of his career. Against Spurgeon, he was amazing against Ripon the other day. He was amazing against CCCB.
Yeah.
So Evan,
shout out Evan.
A shout out to Tucker.
Yeah.
Tucker Kappas, who received the defensive student athlete of the week. So do we have like a
yay Tucker?
Do we got what's there?
Which is the second time that he's won that award.
Yep. So
which is awesome.
But I mean, what he wins really reflects the back line.
Yeah.
Right. And the leader of that back line right now, which is a new group.
Yeah.
That has not worked together, is Evan Shields at center back, and he's going to be a great mentor to Seth Carl, freshman center back, and don't forget about Caleb Hunter and JD Miller on the side, who are really carrying their weight and the team's weight being the back line.
JD had some goal-saving slide tackles yesterday against Ripon.
And Caleb Hunter is just so fantastic. So we can talk about these guys all day. Yeah. The back line is incredible this year. Yes. We love their work. And then hopefully working on this defense against these tough teams will really prepare our defense moving into conference play in the next couple weeks. But yesterday's game against Ripon.
2-0 loss against Ripon, D3 out of Wisconsin. I mean, super similar to the Spurgeon game. I mean, they possessed the ball basically the entire game.
They weren't as physically dominant.
No, they weren't.
But they had a lot of skill.
Yeah, a lot of skill.
Lots of players.
Yeah, it was 0-0 again going into halftime, and then
it was like a hockey game.
I was really impressed because, looking at the shot difference, they had 38 shots compared to just our 3, and we lost 2-0, which is still crazy. And there are 2 goals were set pieces. Like they had no in-play goals. They scored off a throw-in header, and they scored off of a corner header.
Yep.
So both their goals came off headers. And so for the ball being ball being on our side the entire game, like 2-0, which we had lost to them 2 years ago, 5-0.
Yeah.
Obviously 2 very different teams, but I mean, I was encouraged by that.
100%. Yeah. I mean, the thing about
Ripon, Tucker had a fantastic game. He had another 15 save game.
I mean, I look at that. I look at the game, and both their goals came off of miscommunications on our defense. Right. When you play a whole 90 minutes of just really focusing on defense, it's gonna it's going to have a toll on you.
I mean, one mistake. Yeah.
So
one mistake.
And that's the scary part. That's the scary about going into these games with that type of strategy of, you know, you could say unintentionally parking the bus, right?
Right.
But when you're playing against a team that is, you know, you look at as superior.
And you look at their bench and you saw what? 48 guys on their bench, which is crazy.
Yeah, because a lot of those guys on those teams on Rippon's lineup chose to go there for soccer.
Yeah,
you know that you can't say that always the same with all the guys on our field, on our bench, on our lineup. A lot of them come here for the Bible to grow their relationship with Jesus.
And, hey, I want to be on a team,
and then happen to be really good at soccer.
Yeah, which is great.
So, of course, we have guys who are here for soccer, but that's not the only reason.
Soccer and the Bible,
exactly,
versus Bible and soccer.
So, with those miscommunications, as well as just
and those are fixable things too, which is encouraging. Like if it was just like wide open defensive breakdowns, like that's an issue. But like off 2 set pieces, like that's fixable.
Yeah,
and communication is
what I was saying earlier. They were like a hockey team when it came to the lineup switches.
They subbed in 10 guys, like
switch.
20 minutes into the game.
3 different lineups that they were just subbing in. So fresh legs, fresh minds, fresh voices. Honestly, there's a big difference of some of the words that were being said, but
there were a lot.
It was so funny watching on the sideline.
Which is why we do this, to be witnesses to those guys out there.
So many fans are like, Are they Christian? It's like no, they're not.
They're not.
But they were so sweet. Sweet guys. Their coach is awesome. Very nice guy, and players are nice. And that's Spurgeon, also very nice.
Yeah,
the players, no issue with Rippon either. It's been a lot of cool heads this
which has
year,
been awesome.
Which I love.
Yeah,
and that
hopefully
really shows.
That stays going forward.
It shows a lot of growth in our teams.
Yeah,
the athletic departments all around, especially within the NCCAA. And I look forward to seeing what most of our conference play is for the rest of the season. So I do think we can compete against Rippon.
I do too. I mean,
So it's a frustrating game.
It will be interesting to see this weekend with Northwestern if it's going to be a similar, like if it's going to be similar to the last 2 games or if it's going to be different. Because I mean, 2-0 against Rippon.
And I think honestly we're just preparing our men's team for conference.
Right.
It's the same. The volleyball and
conference
soccer
is so
have the
different
same mindset.
from these 3 teams.
These
2 teams that we're playing between Rippon and Northwestern. So like obviously it's going to be way different when we get into conference play.
We'll have more of conference
play. Yeah, it will be more offensive focused, but like knowing like okay, the defense can take this hounding for I mean because really if you think about it, like all 3 goals that Tucker's allowed this year have been set pieces. PK and then corner and then throw in, which is awesome. And so, I mean, really, like, there's a lot of good things to take away. Like,
it is.
Yes, like, I mean, coming from maybe watching the game, you're frustrated, like, why can't we get the ball on our side of the field? But like just thinking that, like, a lot of great things to come from the game. So.
And seeing that we are down Christian Anderson, which was our top goal scorer last year, and that we're still able to score off counterattacks.
Yeah, which is
that we have Jake Matt to kind of fill in those shoes. And the program that he came from as a transfer student was
how it prepared him for
has prepared him like
well
beyond what we can here at Emmaus. So have him here as an individual and what he has brought to the team, as well as that we can still score on counterattacks, and that we're focusing and how we. On defense, and we have a great defense and a back line, and Tucker.
Yeah.
Tucker Kappas as a goalie.
He's really good.
It's a lot of hope.
It is.
And encouragement in the future. Of course, you don't want to go into games and play to not lose.
Yeah, or play timid or scared necessarily. But
as much as that might be the perception, I don't think that's necessarily. I think we are preparing our boys. We're preparing our men for conference, for tournament play.
I mean, even like if we have a good shot at regionals this year.
Yeah.
And if we make it to the nationals, like the national teams that compete at nationals every year, they're very good. And this is preparing us for potentially making a run to nationals to compete with the Pensacola's, the Bob Joneses,
because if we play a game like we did against Spurgeon in a national championship and we win,
that'd be crazy.
No one's gonna look back and say
and be like, wow, they possessed the ball for 5. Yeah, no, they scored 3 times.
What's the score? Scoreboard.
1-0. Yeah,
scoreboard.
That's all you think about at the end.
And of course you want a good soccer game. You want a good volleyball game. You don't just want people to always run the screens or the wheel routes when it comes to like football or playing Madden. But
slant 70-yard touchdown.
So I think we're going to see a lot of
so there are
different,
a lot of good takeaways,
different strategies moving forward when we start playing the teams in conference and regionals. So soccer aside, volleyball aside, cross country,
the
hype
Eagles.
is back.
Let's go.
The hype is back, Matt.
What a fantastic race on Friday.
It hasn't been.
It was kind of like good and like good, but doesn't matter because the guys.
Great! It was great.
The guys ran a 5K. Can't qualify for nationals on a 5K because the men run an 8K.
Yeah.
So this was more like Coach already said going into it. It was more like a speed trial, like aim for this and see how you do. And so 5 guys ran. So William's still getting
5 guys, but 5 girls all ran.
And so I mean, watching Benjamin, Matthew, Sam, Christian, and Caleb all run was great. I mean, they did great. But it kind of stinks because, I mean, actually it ends up working out because everyone should be healthy because, like, I think Caleb was a little hurt. Yeah. And then I think Matthew was a little sick as well. Mm-hmm. And so knowing, like, okay, this last week didn't count. Next week is a 6K. Doesn't count. So in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think, it's the 20th. That's when they are going to run in their first meet that the guys can compete and qualify for nationals. And so I'm excited for that because it's kind of like the build up. So that was great. That was great to see the guys do well. I mean, the 3 freshmen finished 1, 2, 3 ahead of the returners. And so there's a lot of good promise there. But man, the girls, they ran so well. I mean, if you look at it, you need to run a 2 hour and 5 minute combined team time to qualify for nationals. Mm-hmm. And this, Shane, is the earliest that our girls have qualified for nationals.
I love it.
In the history of the program as a team.
My gosh.
Yeah, so it was really cool because Anna Caniglia is back. She's back. She is back.
She's pumpkin spice back.
She is pumpkin spice back. She ran her fastest time. She ran her fastest time this race than all last year combined. She's back. Mm-hmm. And so Anna and then newcomer Augie Christensen and then Kate, who also ran sick, all 3 individually qualified for the national race, which is awesome. And then I don't think this gets talked about enough, especially for cross country runners, but the 4 and 5 are almost just as important, if not more important than the top 3 in times because Riley Rath and Bria Tuttle were 4 and 5, but they ran fast enough to qualify. If they had run a little bit slower, wouldn't have qualified this week, but they booked it, they gave it their all, and they qualified. And so it was cool seeing Augie PR and Riley PR and Bria PR. So it was really encouraging. And also, this was the fastest team time they've had since 2022.
That was the hype year.
And that was the hype year when they finished, I think, 3rd or 4th. Hype is back, which is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Being there,
exciting.
I do like the cross country course that we have here in Dubuque. I know Coach Girardi's are trying to maybe have regionals be a different area, but it's really easy to access all these different points at the track field. I guess so. Either way, super fun meet. Yeah, really fun. Love the energy at cross country meets. Yeah, you got to run around and just like cheer on them, but it's so fun. And we had so many students out there,
Matt. Which was great.
So many students were out there cheering on our team, and it was amazing to see our women's cross country team just smiling on the track, running the course, and then finishing. Seeing Anna finished first, Augie not far behind, and then Kate booked it down that last lap to make up a lot of time.
And she passed a couple of people. Yeah,
and then all 3 individually qualified, and then seeing Riley and Bria finish to get the whole team qualified was just awesome. They didn't even know what was going on. Everyone's like, "What? We qualified?
What's that mean?"
But I mean, as much as like you're hyped about the women's team, I don't want to take away from the men's team.
No,
the men's team was, I think, a minute and a half separation from our last to the first. A minute and a half.
They're all in a group.
A minute and a half is not much. I mean, it's a lot, but it's still a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to get better in the rest of the season with our men's team. So to see that there's a lot of different lead changes within our guys when it came to, honestly, all 3 freshmen. When it comes to Matthew, Sam, and Ben, all shifting who's taking the lead, not as a whole, not in a whole competition, but just within our team.
And I think it's so cool to see, like, in the past, you know, it might have been like, you know, our top 2 or 3 runners for each team, or I guess for the guys, 2 runners, because we only ever had 2 runners. Yeah. First year we have a team, which is awesome. But like the top 2 usually are in the mix with the pack, and then like the back, like 4 or 5 runners, it's like last. Yeah. But that did not happen for either team. I mean, there were running against D3s, and there was one NAIA there. Our runners were in the midst of it. Like, it wasn't like, you know, we had Anna, and then like at the bottom of the race chart, you see Emmaus. That wasn't the case for either team this year, which was really encouraging, really exciting.
It's awesome moving forward to see what our guys are going to be able to do. And I'm looking forward to, I mean, even the women as well. But even when they go up against competition at regionals, and that we're going to host it, to see how we do within our level.
Yeah, which is going to be and exciting.
I'm very excited for
other teams out there.
I hope I'm around. Hope I'm not traveling for enrollment, because I want to see our team race against the other teams.
Yes,
because our guys are fast.
They are dogs, and it's going to be. They're gonna make some noise this year.
We know what we got with on our women's side with Anna and Kate, and then adding Augie to the mix is just even better. To see Anna's back, you know, back and better like
She's
pumpkin
back.
spice. Can't wait for this cross country season. The hype is back. Everybody get on that cross country bandwagon. Matt, let's talk about the upcoming games this week.
Yep, busy weekend. We have cross country on tomorrow, Friday. I think they're down in Pella, Iowa, so keep an eye out that on the graphics. And then soccer is
men's can't qualify yet, but women's can.
But women can only add to their score and add to their time, which would be great. Soccer is up in Minnesota on Saturday, playing at Northwestern, and then they're back home on Tuesday for the Maranatha game.
Big game.
And then volleyball is finally home. They have 2 matches on Saturday. Play against Spurgeon College at 11 a.m. and then I think at 3 p.m. they play Moody Bible Institute.
Yep.
And then another home game next Tuesday against Mount Mary.
It's a fun weekend. We got
Mount
volleyball.
Marty, I can't remember which one, but yeah, it's the All Girls Catholic School.
I think it's Mount Mary.
Yeah, I think so. So great weekend upcoming.
Exciting. We finally get volleyball back on campus. Amazing crowd, a lot of hype around the volleyball home game. So I can't wait to see you guys pack that gym, pack the Pollard. And see what the boys can do this weekend against Northwestern. It's going to be a tough matchup, but it's going to be really fun.
Especially against a perennial D1, NCCAA D1 powerhouse. So
And they got a good soccer squad this year, Northwestern does. But guess who else does? There we go. So do we. So everyone, keep updated on our social media for post-game interviews, for pre-game interviews maybe, and maybe a lot of other
interviews.
There we go. Other content as well as just scores and updates with the teams, live stream, etc.
Parent interviews. I'm looking at you, Kev Dog.
Also, apologize. Speaking of live stream, we are sorry. We've had a lot of internet issues here with
which has not been our fault.
Yeah,
it's been our provider's fault. That's why we haven't live streamed the last 2 soccer games.
Blame like that, Matt. No. We've had issues with our carrier most recently, the last week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. So we are working on those issues. Things should be fixed today or tomorrow. So hopefully by the next home soccer game and these home volleyball games this weekend, we should be able to provide live stream. So be praying for that. Be patient. And worst case scenario, FaceTime us. Or keep looking at the live stats.
Or better not just come to the game. So you have to
that's a good one.
Stream.
Come to the game.
Do that.
That is live stream.
Yeah.
But in person. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate your love, your support, your time, and including us in your daily routine. So thank you so much for everything. And keep an eye out on our social media. Subscribe. Hit that bell notification. Keep up with the team. Keep us in your prayers. And come to the events coming up. We have we have homecoming at the end of this month of September and the beginning of October. And if you have questions about the Talon Club, please reach out to Emmaus on an info request or contact anybody you know that works here.
Or hit either of us up.
Yep, there we go. But Matt, what's today, man?
Today, Shane, is a great day to be an Emmaus Eagle.
See you next week.